Well, hello everybody. Thank you for being here. We're going to continue on the second part of the series of lectures regarding the basics of organizational behavior and management. In the first lecture, we talk about the basic school of Taylor, of Mayo, and the school of Chris Argyris, and the role of the human factor. And we shall continue talking about the role of human factor in the contemporary management in museums and tourism and hospitality as well. Well, uh, in this case, now I would like to thank uh, Innova Project uh, for giving me the opportunity to be here and talk to you about these issues. Well, let's continue about the role of the human factor in human resource management. Well, according to Griffiths in 1964, every organization is an open system, part of a bigger system um, in which many aspects and many pillars are taking place. At the same time, includes the human factor, which has to remain in a stable balance. And in order to achieve the, the objective and the purpose of the existence. In other words, the human factor or the production or the vision or the purpose of the company, of the organization, of the museum, of the hospitality um, establishment must have a goal, must have a purpose, should have a vision. And this vision is accomplished by the human, mostly by the human factor, which is heavily associated with internal and external factors that makes a system. And this systemic approach was quite recently accepted by the bibliography. So the contemporary management definition is the coordination of all productive resources in order to achieve the defined objectives. And I would add that the contemporary management is the coordination of all resources in order to get the best we can, the more we can from the human factor. But that human factor has to be also satisfied with his job and what he gets from there, from the workplace organization. So management is the specialized activity which takes place in an organized attempt frame. It aims at the realization and the best possible degree, same mutual purpose, using the available sources through functions such as planning, organizing, direction, staffing, and controlling. Well, the management has four factors. The first one is knowledge, the second one is skills, the third one is philosophy or culture, and the last one is systems. Let's talk about knowledge. Well, knowledge is a very important factor for contemporary management. You see, knowledge is the cornerstone of um, a successful organization. Knowledge has two basic pillars: tacit knowledge and explicit knowledge. Tacit knowledge could be said in very thick lines as the experience that we gain from the workplace. And explicit knowledge is a type of knowledge that is transferred through words, uh, through speech, through texts. Well, in that level, every organization has to invest on knowledge as the basic pillar factor of management. Another factor is the outcome of knowledge is the increase of skills of people working there. We have to increase the skills. So the human factor, the employee, meets the need of being recognized according to Maslow's hierarchy. So skills should be increased and should be increased at the same level as knowledge. So it's a quite important, it's a very important pillar of management. It should be taken care of as that. And the other factor of management is also culture, which is also depend on knowledge and skills. And through knowledge and skills, we make a solid unity, a culture, the culture of productivity, the culture of innovation, the culture that includes all our values, all our beliefs, the inclinations of staff. The culture is could be seen through attitudes and could be seen through the interpersonal relationships that are developed in the workplace. And the final is the system, which is built upon the three other basic factors of management, which is, I will say that once more, knowledge, skills, culture, and now the whole system, the workflow, the procedure, what we do and how we do it, and what is done by whom in the organization. And this workflow also includes the rules that exist in the organization. So all those um, factors are supporting the basic tools of management, which are organized, organization, which is strategic planning, which is leadership, which is control. So the museum is an active organization. It is established for a specific purpose, and this specific purpose contains the history of the society, and is a very fragile factor that should be and needed to be taken care of. And also, the museum works as an organization that needs also to be well organized, to have a strategic goal, and to be controlled, and to be managed as well. So every member of this personnel also has a different role that he has to play in this organizational structure. So in a basic figure, this is the whole system. In the center we have the museum, and all around we have the numerous factors that is associated um, to the function of the museum. We have the human resources, we have the government, we have the knowledge, we have the means, we have the structure, we have the equipment that is needed, we have the market, we have the competition, we have the enterprises that are associated to our museum, we have the sectors of economy, we have the external environment, we have the physical environment, we have the media, we have many things that have a direct effect on the museum and how it works, and also has a direct effect on the way the human factor works. So the basic administrative functions in a museum and in an organization in the wider tourism and hospitality area are the same: is planning, organizing, directing, and controlling as well. And this is a figure of the management functions, and we have the activities, we have with the pillars, we have the factors, we have the activities. In a way, management is a very complex thing, and it is complex because in the center of it is the human factor, which has many needs, and this human factor needs the attention of the management, and this human factor wants to establish goals and wants to fulfill goals, and this human factor wants to move on further on, but also needs to be motivated in a very difficult and very comprehend environment. So regarding the strategic planning, we have the short-term and the long-term strategic planning. In this complex synthesis of activities in a museum or an establishment of tourism in general. So we have to strategically plan in short term and long term. And this planning contains authority, because planning and organizing in the second level, every piece of the organizational chart, every human factor, every person has a different role, and this different role needs to have the authority to accomplish things, and this authority needs lines and courses of communication, and also every spot of the organizational chart, meaning every person in this, has a responsibility of their actions and their authorities that they were delegated to him. And the extent of their possibility is directly correlated to the extent to the extent of their knowledge, their explicit knowledge, and their tacit knowledge, their the knowledge that have acquired in the university, and the knowledge that have acquired during their experience in the sector. And not only from those, but also the responsibilities quite closely correlated to the extent of their skills that have developed. And also the responsibilities very closely correlated to the extent of the culture that have developed, and the unity of team that they belong into. And also there is a accountability of their actions. And all these are elements of organizing, planning, directing, and controlling, because all those aspects of the contemporary management should be exist, should be real, and should be delegated and to every person itself in order to take the best or to coordinate functions and make the best out of the human factor. In any case, we have to acknowledge and we have to make sure that if we want to motivate or to be leaders or to control the human factor, first of all, we have to strategically plan and then very carefully organize the production line of our organization, of our museum. Therefore, we have to make an organizational chart, and in every spot of the of the chart, we have to assign roles. We have to assign power. We have to assign tasks. We have to assign methods to communicate. We have to give the authority to do things, but at the same time, we demand accountability and control. In any case, we have to make clear that in a museum, in any organization that is heavily dependent on the human factor, we have to make a very clear chart. And in this very clear chart, we have to assign carefully and with many details how will they deliver the assigned task to the management. And this also will make much easier to control the outcome. And through the control action, reorganize and re-strategically plan the organization. As I have said earlier, management is a very difficult thing to do. Management is very complicated because it is heavily dependent on the human factor. Now, looking back and historically retrospect the course of the economy and the production levels, it should be recognized the part and the role of the human factor. Humans are not machines. Humans are easily tired, and humans are very easily burnt out and stressed, and therefore we have to take care of them. And they have many needs that need to be fulfilled and in order to feel right and ready to to take part in the production line. Anyhow, every task should be assigned very carefully in a very detailed way to every spot of the organizational chart. And it should be done for the for the at the first. It should be done um, in a very dynamic way, in a very rigorous way. Anyhow, please take care of your fellow humans because those humans will help you accomplish the task.